Winning. I've outsmarted you on a number of levels. Beta. Well, actually, King's not. Beta.
That was a hot mess inside a dumpster fire, inside a train wreck.
Keep your mouth shut. I'm going to go in there and slap your face.
You know, we're going to rise like the phoenix. And
Get in my limousine. Ride on 85. Get in my Learjet. Woo!
Welcome back to the Asterisk and Collusion podcast. We're going to be joined here with a special guest going over the rankings. That's right.
Well, who do we have here?
That's right, though, Commish.
And I want to say I'm proudly displaying my new shirt, Commish. I've been wearing it around town. People come up to me and they're chuckling because they see the Commish on the back. Sounds like everybody in the world is in some fantasy football league. And they know what a big position that is. So it's been a lot of fun. I want to thank LTD for the shirt, and my wife wears the other one. It fits her really well. So that's really nice addition. And it's in cream and crimson, the Hurricane Hoosiers colors.
Well, speaking of LTD,
we have a special sponsor announcement here. We are featuring some LTD Whisper Creek here, and we want to thanks for his sponsorship. We are drinking the cream liqueur today, and let's boom
toast to LTD.
Oh, that's good stuff. If you guys haven't tried it, you should. Comes in several different flavors. I think it's in the stores here, isn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Here, handling his liquor.
It's hard. Oh man.
So we got about an hour for this, right?
Yeah, about a little, actually less than that, about maybe like 40 minutes.
Okay.
Well, I do want to shout out to Drill for winning last year. What an accomplishment. It was not a fluke. He was ahead from like the half of the season to the last part of the season. He was ahead. Everyone kept trying to catch him. What an accomplishment after 21 years. It was nice to see the hot one there supporting her man. That was kind of a neat thing. And I want to thank so many of the guys who got there. There were 10 guys there for an out-of-town event. And that's obviously makes it a lot more fun. That was amazing that Oracle on the way home blew out his tire. My goodness, that could have been horrendous at 75 miles an hour. So glad he's okay. He's okay. But it's just good to see everybody at Smoke Fest. That's been a good addition over the last few years. Kind of get everybody fired up for the draft.
Definitely has been.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Drill did a really nice job putting that together.
Innovative.
Yeah, and again, we want to thank LTD for all he does for the league. Good to hear from the Red Tornadoes.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a special surprise?
It's been a minute since we've heard from him.
No kid. He was trying his best to be there, but he's got 3 kids and 2 of them were out of town doing different sports things. So he just could not get there, but he wanted to get there to support his old roommate and fraternity brother. So it was good to hear from him. And I want to thank the video award contestants. We want to keep that tradition up. So hopefully guys will send some good stuff, some original stuff, get the family involved in that. That's always a lot of fun. And it's always good to see. We all know Huzzah is a pretty good golfer, and he showed off his prowess. Too bad that doesn't extend to Ashlynn Cup, though. He's not a twofer.
No, one trick pony.
Well, Beef, how are you doing?
All right, doing good. The Grizz is ready to get the season started. Some good college football games on today, hopefully. But while we got you, Commish, we talked about the draft to a good extent, and hoping next year is just as good, and we got a new champion, maybe somebody different. I like getting new blood in the league, but if you're looking,
I definitely think that's a good idea for the league.
Yeah, it keeps it going. It's getting more and more competitive, but
more and more even.
Yeah, we wanted to sit down and talk to you about your thoughts on surprise picks, teams you like, teams you don't like, and just what you think might happen at the end of the year. Any ideas?
Well, I have lots of thoughts. I've looked at it. I've had the board up there on my fireplace, and my overall thought is it's really pretty balanced. It's just getting better and better every year, more and more competition. There's not any great teams, although Gatos had an A+ rating. But I don't think there's really bad teams. I mean, everyone is picking on Drill, and then we got his board sitting right here. You know, he's got some really nice players like Garrett Wilson. He's going to hook up with Aaron Rodgers this year, and I think he's going to score a lot of points. You got Darren Water, T. Higgins, Herbert out of San Diego. I mean, I don't understand why he's getting an F- rating. I don't get it. You know, it's going to be hard to defend the championship. I'm not saying he's a first place contender, but I see a whole lot of people in the middle of the pack. What do you think, Goose?
I think
overall,
it's a lot tighter. There's like the worst, even if you view the worst team, it's the gap between the worst team and what we view as maybe the best team is a lot closer than it was 10 years ago.
Oh, I agree 100%. What do you think, Grizz?
I mean, it's definitely tighter, and usually you want big three. You want like a trifecta of players that is going to that's why I think people like Gatos. He's got that running back, quarterback, tight end. But as the season approaches, and there'll be injuries after week 1 or 2, and some teams are literally. That's the only frustrating thing I really hate about fantasy. You draft well, and you have high hopes, and then 2 injuries happen, and I think there's 2 or 3 years ago, I lost about 5 players after week 3 or 4, my top 8 picks. And, then you got to watch the rest of the season because you just manage. And managing can be really boring if you know your team sucks. But our team is pretty good. I mean, our league is pretty good about keeping in it. And no matter how bad we're doing, that's why I like to keep that $50 running every week. It keeps everybody in.
$75 this year.
Oh, it's $75 now.
$75, baby. That's enough to go out there and win. I tell you, no one's been hurt more by injuries than Oracle over the years. Holy, he has had the worst luck. And he's had bad finishes, but hopefully he can get it going. Hopefully Huzzah can get it going. We can get the Magic Man in there with some points. Huzzah certainly needs to make himself more of a regular top point producer. I don't know if that's going to happen this year, but we'll talk about that. But my 3 weak teams, and again, I don't think there's a bad team, is First and Goal. I think he's got some real holes. And I think Huzzah and Drill. I don't think Drill's going to win it, but I think he's better than people think he is. I mean, what do you think on your bottom load?
I know. I mean, I think you picked out some winners there with First and Goal. His QB situation really is
ugly.
Yeah, it's not sexy at all. And Huzzah, the curse of Huzzah, McCaffrey might be injured by week 2, and that would stick fork in him. As far as the kind of like a third team, looking it over, I might be worried if I'm Tuna, maybe.
I've heard that before.
I mean,
I don't talk about the Tuna, but Tuna always ends up in the top 5 every year.
He does. I mean, but Najee Harris, DeAndre Hopkins is kind of doesn't really excite me or get me going. I'd much rather be in Drill shoes with St. Brown, Wilson, Higgins, and even Deontay Johnson. Are all better than Hopkins. So
I thought the two first round picks I thought were funny, and of course I'm going to be looking at worst draft pick award, is St. Brown and then a rookie running back in the first round with LTD. Now he might prove us wrong, but that Bijan Robinson must be pretty good. He's got his own line of mustard.
Dude, spicy. Grizz, what are you thinking about this?
It's going to be a dynamic year. I think it's going to come down to the last week. I think there's going to be 3 or 4 teams in it. I don't think anybody's going to run away with it. I mean, something can happen, but I think the last few years have been really tight. We have not had anybody run away with it, clearly in years. I mean, Drill had a little bit of a lead last year, and as it was closing, he was sweating bullets. So, it's going to be fun and entertaining. There's not a team I'm gravitating. There's not a single team I can honestly say, looking at the board, I'm like, they got a clear shot. And they're,
Yeah.
we're definitely going to win. I don't
It's
see it at
odd
all.
for me to see Sleeper go last place, and then this year, again, I think he's a middle of the round guy. I don't think he's bad, but he better get Montgomery and Zeke scoring some points, and that's David Montgomery on a new team with the Lions, and Zeke on a new team. Who knows? Belichick might run Zeke till his pants come down.
If Zeke has a career year, I will probably never play fantasy football.
I hear you. You know, he's older now, but he's on that new offense, and Belichick loves a good running back. So Sleeper is, to me, is very dependent on those two guys about how well he does.
Yeah, Grizz, what do you think about Sleeper's draft overall?
This is kind of funny because, you know, he does a lot of heckling and likes to call the shots, and he likes to get under people's skin. But I remember last year we talking about this. He gave me so much grief for taking Josh Allen in round 2, and he takes him Jalen Hurts in round 2, and I was like, "What's he doing, man?" Like, I mean, this is hypocrite.
he's
right
an all-star quarterback, in my opinion.
And I mean, honestly, I didn't like the Hurts pick there. I think the quarterback run started way too early in our league. I didn't expect that to happen at all. And then Jahmyr Gibbs, who I think I would never draft an unproven player on a team that's historically bad, even though there's some upside with the Lions. But he's also, I don't want to draft a running back in the first 2 rounds as a split carry back. And he is a split carry back.
That's a split carry team.
Yeah. And then Cam Akers, I thought
that's a weak pick.
I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole.
Coops, we're all in agreement about that. Cam Akers, he must be a head case. I thought in general, like Grizzly alluded to, I thought the draft message this year is quarterbacks went early. I mean, overall,
seven quarterbacks in the first 4 rounds.
Yeah, but I tell you what, a lot of these guys get 30, 40 points every week. I mean,
I think I was looking at it. I think between rounds 8 and 11 or something like that, there was like 11 or 12 quarterbacks taken. Like we had taken almost every quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We certainly. Brock Purdy got drafted and Sam Howell.
that says a lot.
Yeah. I mean, and to be truly honest, even I was looking to pick up a 3rd quarterback, and
but you waited for that kicker.
He's a stud, dude.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah.
Is he even on the team?
Oh yeah,
he is on the team.
He's playing.
Okay.
He's electric.
That might have been my favorite draft moment when Tuna tells Coop to draft a kicker at the end. He wants to get the Cowboys kicker. Then Coop later looks at the news or something and says, "Is he even going to make the team?" I'm like,
"That's right. That's right." It was touch and go if he's going to make the team.
They would be like, they might have seen the first
kicker first week.
We might have seen the first wrestling match at the Ashlynn Cup.
Oh man, I mean, I'm on Tuna for that one.
Watch him score 14 points. I mean, for a kicker, which is fantastic.
Hey, and that Cowboys offense, I mean, that's going to be a points getter somehow. They're going to move the ball and score. So
I want to compliment the Burns boys. I thought both of those guys are definitely top 5 in the draft. And Grizzlies' first 5 picks are just rock solid. And if he can get any quarterback production, because he didn't draft till the 8th round, he's going to be pretty good. And I think we all know Gatos is looking really strong, except his running backs. His running backs are a little suspicious, but our league's not big on running backs.
Ryan really needs Watson. Thing is, he's got quarterbacks who are really incredibly unproven, and those are his 1 and 2 wide receivers. You know, Love may play good. We don't know. Sam Howell may play good. We don't know. And I think Dobbs is the number 1 wide receiver in Green Bay right now. And they said it in Green Bay, the reports I've read, that they have a report between Love and Dobbs, and Ryan took Watson really high. That was actually one of the biggest shocks in the draft. I mean, Coop pulled 2 huge shocks, especially drafting Fields early, round 3. But there were a lot of head scratchers. That's what I expect in the Ashlynn Cup. And we do have a history, and we kind of do know what everybody's going to do. And I already know if I'm thinking about a player that I'm going to draft, it's almost uncanny that somebody's going to take him 2 or 3 picks before me. And I think Coop actually took about 5 of my running backs. Like I did.
Andy, what's the deal on Kamara? Can he not play the first week or 2?
He's got 3 weeks off. It's just because
Hmm.
he had a suspension where he beat the crap out of a guy and he
Right.
paid the guy
Right.
$100,000 to keep his mouth shut or something. And I don't
But
know.
you got Deuce Vaughn too. He looked really good.
Well, they said Javon Williams is going to start and be fine. So that's a weird injury because he tore all 3 ligaments in his knee. I guess they weren't huge tears, and they said he's just running around fine. I can't believe that.
Yeah.
He's definitely a player to take a risk on. I was looking at him too, and I mean, it's funny you say I snaked about 5 of your running backs. I think you got me on like Javante and Deuce, so and Chuba. So
That's half the fun of the draft is snaking somebody.
so
Yeah.
you were all over it too.
The one other thing about the draft, I thought, we went quarterback early. The other interesting thing, if you look at the overall draft, is unlike a lot of years, we didn't see combinations where a guy didn't draft a quarterback and then the receiver on the same team. We didn't see those guys going for those dual points.
Mhm.
And in other years, that was done on purpose. Am I wrong, Coop?
No, it was. I think this year, maybe I can't speak for every team, but I know it just didn't fall the way I wanted. When I took Fields, I really zeroed in on DJ Moore, another player. Grizz got for me, but he just didn't make it back around.
But that used to be a point of emphasis. Well, guys, they
Yeah.
wanted the double guy. What about you, Grizz? Did you get anybody like get double points?
Well, I got Deshaun Watson and Chubb for whatever that's worth. That's minimal, I think. I mean, Chubb could possibly have 45, 50 catches, but because Hunt's not there. I got Deuce Vaughn, Prescott. I got somebody else, but it's nothing to write home about. I don't have anything dynamic. Like I would like to have, like CD Lamb. I forget who has CD Lamb, but when you have a group of players, like what you really need to hit on is have a third or fourth running back hit, and then you can trade them for a quarterback and a wide receiver package, and maybe win some extra weeks. So our league's on top of it, I know, and I kind of, again, Drills is getting lucky sometimes. Like he got Mahomes last year in round 4. Then he gets he drafted Wilson early. So whoever was around him and didn't take Rodgers before Drill did, shame on you.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Drill's draft getting Rodgers in the 10th round.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about an all-pro quarterback. There's a lot of excitement, and I think that's a really good pick in the 10th round.
I mean, you're saying about. I was going to say what you were saying about double points. I mean, Drill did it with Rodgers and Wilson. That could be an explosive combo.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that can make up for any shortcomings that the computers or the experts might see. I mean, I think
one touchdown might be 16 points. One touchdown.
Yeah, that wins you the league.
Well, again, remember what I said? The average winner doesn't score 200. The average winner is like 142 points.
Mhm.
So it's not like you got to blow them out.
Well, I don't agree with a lot of the ratings either. I probably looked at the weekly matchup points, and I'm like, I don't know who comes up with this crap. It's awful. Probably some sideline reporter in a dress, all I know. But I mean, I just don't understand how Rodgers went round 10. Our league is usually pretty savvy. We snake each other a lot, and I said that at the draft. There was no trash talking.
No trades.
There's no, well, that's not going to happen. And I think those days are done because unless there's like an LT or AP in his prime, I mean, this is the worst year, in my opinion, and probably because of the Jonathan Taylor scare last year. Jonathan Taylor, again, was the undeclared #1 pick everywhere, the consensus, I would think. And he screwed things up. And if we're half, ADP or catches and stuff. So it's just kind of weird. I don't think I've never seen a top 5 this bad in fantasy football. It was a terrible, like Coop. That's why you traded all the way down. I mean, it was. I don't think we'll ever see that again.
Maybe not. I mean, when I was picking, first of all, I was shocked to see Sleeper drop down to 2. I was looking at 12 the whole way, and I had my plan and everything planned out, but yeah, when Sleeper dropped to 2 and Who's took 3, I was like, I mean, obviously I could have taken one, but I just stuck with what I had gone in with, the plan that I went in with, and took 12. But I mean, you're right. There's just not like, I just don't want to be with a gun to my head saying I have to take Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, it's weird because I think Jefferson is the number one clear player. And I was thinking about this, and I was at 6. And I mean this honestly. If I was going to take the first running back off the board, given the situation, it would not be Christian McCaffrey for me. It would be between Eckler and Chubb. Is kind of one of, I just don't trust CMC that much. He's older. He's fragile. They're going to try to run him a lot. And I mean, I guarantee you he'll miss 2 or 3 games this year.
Yeah, right. I mean,
Point made.
I mean, they already came out with an article saying the 49ers are going to try to reduce his carries and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, which makes sense. Get them, keep them healthy for the playoffs, because they pretty much they're almost guaranteed to make it.
Yeah. Well,
So, Commissioner, we got any other big predictions? You got anything else you want to say about the league or the NFL? Any like sleeper picks or anything that you could just basically project and maybe have some surprises?
Well, like I said, I've got my bottom 3, and I think my top 3 would probably be Gatos, Grizz, and I don't know, the third one, LTD looks awfully strong. I mean, so much of it was won with these guys between the 6th and 10th pick, guys who might be your backup running backs and, just get you solid points. They don't get you 25 points a game, but you got hopefully a wide receiver and running backs to get you 15 points, but they do it every game, every week.
That might be an interesting analysis, and maybe we should challenge somebody that's good at that kind of stuff like sleeper. I wonder, we've been in the league for quite a while, but what is the best pick historically in the Ashlynn Cup that wins the cup? I would bet money it's between 4 and 8.
Yeah, I bet you're right.
Yeah, I mean, I think like Sleeper mentioned this, like where do champions come from? What pick? Yeah, it would be really. I mean, that's a deep dive, and we tried to do that. Nate Gate and I don't know, we kind of fell short, but with the help of Sleeper. But it would be nice to like kind of look and just see what pick generates the most champions from. I'm sure that would be the top pick in next year's fantasy draft pick Zoom call.
Well, yeah, it's nice having
you talk about the Genius Award. I mean, it could be Jordan Love. He might end up, the Packers know what they're doing, and they must have been getting ready to get rid of Rodgers, and maybe Love's the real deal. Maybe that running back down in Carolina, what's his Chuka Hubbard in the 13th round. He might get a lot of carries and put up some points.
That's why I'm surprised Gerald or Mansell didn't draft him like around 10 or 11, because Miles Sanders, to me, he's a talented guy. I forward Koopa stat on Miles Sanders. He's only been in the league for, I think, a little while. He's still a pretty young guy, but he has not even caught a touchdown pass since 2019.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't know, they said he's not a very good receiving running back, but I thought he was. And I think Chuba's actually may have a similar to even better skill set than, I think they're going to be a 50-50 punch on it. What do you think about the Carolina running backs? Do you see Miles Sanders taking 80% of the carries? I don't.
No, I just don't. He's not the type of back that can do that. He was riddled with injuries the first, was it 3 years or so in his career. I mean, I actually see him getting hurt somewhere in like early in the season, and it might be the Chuba show. Like I think you're right. I'm actually surprised, and not just Gerald, but like the whole league wasn't like more honed in on Chuba. I mean, he's not like this explosive, sexy back that.
But for 13th round, he's a good deal.
Oh, he's a great deal.
I mean, for that,
like I think people should have been on it. Probably myself included, like a little bit more around like 10 to 12.
Yeah.
That was a sleeper pick for me, because when he's sitting there, I'm like, don't we have Carolina fans in the league? Like,
yeah,
I can't believe that. That was just really odd for me.
Yeah, no. But I will say this about I was kind of like looking at the board right now. I actually like his quarterback situation more so than a lot of others. I think Trevor Lawrence has got like a ton of upside this year.
Yeah, they're saying they're real big on Trevor Lawrence, and he got him in the 7th round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
I actually
ahead.
like it. I like Who's team. I think this is Who's best draft he's ever had.
Really? Oh, that's interesting. So I got him in my bottom 3, but you could be right.
But keep in mind, I think I've said is who's his best draft for the last 6 years. So that hasn't panned out. But I do like Lawrence. I had Lawrence and Fields. I was actually looking and debating to like draft either one of them like in the 4th round. And I went with Fields, but like I really thought Lawrence was going to come off the board no later than the 5th. And sure enough, he lasted the 7th. I don't know what some teams are thinking on that one. And then like at the end, in the 15th, he got picked up Jared Goff, which is
that's a good value.
I mean, the guy's a 25-point quarterback,
The other team I like as far as balance and depth is Oracle. I mean, he's got Philadelphia defense, best defense in the league. Adam Thielen in the 11th round, and he'll get a lot of catches. I don't know about touchdowns, but he'll probably be the number 1 go-to receiver. He's got Jared Judy. Pacheco is a good running back for 7th round. Burrow, Dobbins, Samuel, Cup's real hurt right now, but I mean, he has got a real solid team, and that's nice to see him getting up there and competing. I just hope he doesn't get the injury bug that he's had in the last few years.
There's going to be a lot of injuries. I was looking for my roster, and Coop and I both drafted 8 running backs, and we are, it's good. You got to have backups. And there's still, I mean, in my opinion, there's a ton of wide receivers out there on the free agent market. I think there's 10 kind of guys you can just throw in your lineup right now, like Hunter Renfrow, that can get you 5 or 6 catches. But you got to have a lot of backup running backs, and somebody's going to pay this year, and then somebody's going to pay early. And I hope it's me, where I can get Tajay Spears in there and Henry goes down. I never want to wish injury in anybody, but I like some of my later picks. I think my favorite pick is the tight end out of Denver, because he got Sean Payton there and Russell Wilson. I've heard a lot of good things about this Dulwich guy, and I expect, I wouldn't be surprised at all if he has 70, 80 balls this year.
My other weak link team, as far as just overall strength, is Nate Gate. I just don't see any great point getters. Diggs is fantastic, no question. Andrews is really nice. But then you look down through his roster, he's got Tagovailoa at quarterback, Mac Jones at quarterback. I mean,
I don't think
he's got a risky team there, in my opinion.
I have a feeling that Tua is just going to get cleaned and he's done by midseason. I thought that beginning of the season. He's had so many injuries. He's like Crystal Chandelier. Remember him?
Oh yeah.
You touch him, he falls apart. And it's just he's got to shake that bug, and until he has or hasn't, I don't want to touch a guy like Tua. I mean, he's got the best wide receiver duo in the league, in my opinion.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's healthy, he lights it up. I mean, you can't not do it with Waddle and Tyreek Hill. But looking at Nate Gates' running backs,
Connor's on his team, but that's the worst team in football.
Yeah,
the Cardinals. I'm sorry, he's going to have an uphill battle.
The Cardinals are. I think guys asked me this. Do you think they're purposely doing this and throwing in the towel before the season starts? And I'm like, I do. I think when they brought in Dobbs to be their starting quarterback, that's like that movie, The Replacements, with Keanu Reeves. I'm like, for real? I mean, that is pathetic.
I agree.
They're done. I mean, the Cardinals are done already.
Oh, I agree with that. So Connor's going to have a tougher time. He's got Pollard. Diggs is a certified point machine, but I don't know. He's got a Charbonnet and a running back. He's, again, a nice player, but I don't know if I'd want to count him as my main starter.
Oh, no, he's not a starter, but I think you'll want to get a guy like that on your team. You want to watch him develop. Like, that's a good guy to have to be your 3rd or 4th running back.
But there again, Nate's always sniffing around there. He gets the Burns Bowls. He's won the Ashlynn Cup. I mean, he knows what he's doing. So I got to give him that.
He was a little jealous, I think, that I took Nick Chubb. I don't think he liked that pick very
Oh,
much.
that was a good pick right there.
That's right. He was looking for a little Chubb
For the
action.
Cleveland Browns. Who would have ever thought, you know?
Do you guys know this? And I was surprised when I was looking through the rankings. Do you know how many combined yards he had last year?
Huh.
You could know how many combined yards?
2,000.
He had 1,700 yards last year combined.
Wow.
Now Kadeem Hunt's gone, and they got Watson starting off with no nonsense. Chubb is going to be the man this year, and if he disappoints,
You better hope.
I'm a skull. I'm never playing again. If he's like 800 yards, I'm done.
Oh yeah. Well, looking at some other teams, I'm just curious. Number one overall pick, Magic Mike. I mean, starting off with Justin Jefferson and Jalen Waddell. Like, what do y'all think?
That's awesome. That's pretty nasty.
Herbert at QB.
To me,
No,
Magic.
He's
Magic
got a
Mike.
solid team.
Well, I'll take you back a little bit. His first 7 or 8 picks are awesome, and I think the last end of his draft is complete garbage.
Well, I mean, yeah,
And that's okay. I mean, he's got the starters, and he can, if he just banks on 1 or 2 of those guys after round 8, you can still win the league. But
Look at he's got Kittle, Herbert, Mixon, DeAndre Swift, Smith, and Jigba. I mean, those are solid 8, 7, 6 picks. I mean,
I don't think Jigba's even going to be around for a while, though. I mean, they say he broke his wrist and he just had surgery. And you play wide receiver. You cannot play in the NFL and catch balls after having surgery on your wrist. I would think that would take 2 or 3 months.
Well, I do. Well, I agree with you on that, but like he did get George Pickens, which is I do like that. Like,
oh yeah, I think he's going to be awesome this year. I said Magic Mike's his starting roster is really good, but if somebody goes down like Kittle or something, he's going to be in trouble.
I don't know, Dalton Kincaid. They're saying he's a super sleeper rookie tight end. Magic's team is strong. I mean, there's.
Oh, I'm not saying. He's in there. I mean,
I agree. Again, just highlighting what great balance we could have a different winner every week. I mean, it's.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. Like, I know everybody's like, you can like, oh, you need depth, but you need like those 3 or 4 guys, those starters that are going to carry you, like more so than any other position. Because, I mean, there's always the wire, and as we were alluding to earlier, there are so many receivers on the wire right now that I could add, and I'd be happy with.
Oh yeah, I guarantee you by week 2 or 3. After round 8, I bet you after round 8, the receivers drafted, I bet you, well, I would say by midseason, I bet you more than half of them are cut. Wide receivers, that's the one position I'm completely content with in knowing that I could always find somebody every week to be in my roster and score.
Yeah. Well,
it kind of makes it fun.
Again, I would say this: if Jonathan Taylor gets traded to a nice team with Grizz's top 5 picks, boy, got those picks. Gattos has got a really strong team through the top, 7 or 8 rounds. And
yeah, I mean, that's an intriguing pick right there. Taylor killed me last year, and he's out the first 4 weeks guaranteed, I think, right now, unless he gets traded or something happens.
Yeah,
that's just a terribly stressful situation because we know Ryan's going to sit on that for as long as he possibly can before there's any actual value. He's going to squeeze every penny out of that thing. And I just don't know. I mean, Jonathan Taylor could get traded to the Cardinals, or he may go to what I fear is he goes to the Kansas City Chiefs or something. But I don't think Andy Reid's will.
Oh yeah, if he goes to a dynamite offense, watch out.
So the rumor is that Miami is kind of really the biggest team in on that trade, but they wanted Waddle or a first rounder. And Miami's like they balked at that. They're like, no way. But I know Miami would love to get Jonathan.
Is this he's got running back Perrine? Is he anything? I mean, he's on Denver. I mean,
they signed him to a tier contract for $7 million, which says they're committed, and it's not a lot of money. This is his 3rd NFL team in basically 4 or 5 years. He's just a basically north-south bowling ball. He can catch the ball okay. He didn't have elite speed or even decent speed. He's just kind of one of those players who's an average backup, I think.
He's a good compliment to Javonte Williams.
Yeah.
I think Javonte will be the star of that backfield.
Sure.
But I mean, again, Javonte's knee is, is so surgically repaired. Who
But
knows?
and beyond that, I mean, what kind of offense does that team have? You got to look at that,
Yeah.
Right
I
now,
mean-
it's going to be based on it's really about Russell Wilson. Can they pass block for him? Can he go through his progressions? Judy's already out. They already lost the other Patrick, the wide receiver. He tore his knee 3 weeks ago. They're in a rut already. So, like Dulcich, like I said, Dulcich may end up being their second leading receiver on that team.
I would look at it like this. Javonte Williams has the potential to be like what Alvin Kamara was in the Saints years ago. And
but he got the bad knee.
Well, he's got the bad knee. He's got that potential though. But like Piran or whatever is going to be more like a Mark Ingram role. Come in, kind of spell it. He'll get points, and he might even be a goal line sniper on there, getting like those goal line TDs.
He came out of Cincinnati, if I remember correctly, and he was a decent backup to Joe Mixon. But again, like these guys who've been around for 5 or 6 years as running backs in the NFL, he's just not exciting. I mean, the Bengals let him go for a reason. They didn't try to resign him.
He's a key player for those. If he gets hot, I
mean, I think what P. Ryan will do is probably, get 50, 60 yards here and there combined and a touchdown every other game. And Ryan just hopes that he can get some trash touchdowns. And there's always 2 or 3 running backs every year, like the James Conner. I think, what did Conner have, 17 touchdowns last year?
Yeah.
They complete garbage.
Yeah, but he's such a good guy,
I'll say this: two players we're not talking about got those is his last 2 running backs, Deion Jackson and Kyren Williams. Jackson, I mean, with Colts, is the starter. Right now,
unbelievable.
I thought about that too. There's no way they go through the whole season as him.
He has a bad offensive line, so I don't see him doing.
He's a smaller guy too. I was thinking about taking.
He's a starter in the.
It is right now.
Round.
Well, that's good.
I would probably consider starting him right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't remember who is his flex.
Let's see. Breece Hall, maybe, or Gabe Davis.
I would consider, if they're the starting running back, I would put it. I mean, or Gabe Davis. I mean, I wouldn't start Breece Hall or play him right now because you don't know if he's going to.
He has to. He's got to start Hall.
Well, I think I might start Deion Jackson over Breece Hall right now.
I would.
Breece Hall's a split carry guy. That's a powerful offense.
But also Kyren Williams. I mean, we've all been saying this. Cam Akers blows. He's terrible. And
I didn't even know that was one of the only players in the draft. I'm like, who the hell is it? I had to go look up the top left corner. I'm like, oh, that's the backup running back on the Rams. I just forgot who that player even was.
Yeah.
That's some deep diving right there.
It is. Well, hey, Grizz, we only got about a minute left, so we're gonna just wrap this up.
Who's the Thursday night game?
The Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, there we go, baby.
That's right. Well, boys, thank you for joining us. I think we had an excellent pod talking about a little bit about the draft and who did well, who did not do well, some surprise picks, sleepers, and all the above. Come back next week. We look forward to having you. Commish, thank you for joining us.
I enjoyed it. And thanks for the shirt.
Yeah. Grizz.
Yeah, I appreciate it as always. And next podcast, I think we're going to go through our weekly matchups in the Ashlynn Cup and predict our first week's winners. And
that'd be a good pod right there. I haven't even looked at the first week matchups.
That's right. And guys, don't forget, we're right and you're wrong.